Hey Jay.
Hey Richard, how you
Yeah.
doing?
Good. You're my first one to join one of my live streams. It's working well.
Good.
Yeah.
It
I
took
was
me a
just
minute because I had got a new computer and I had to go set up security so it would allow my camera to be used.
oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just chatting about my first two ultras that I got involved in, and actually I was thinking about it today. My first two ultras were trail ultras, and I wear road shoes, and I paid the price for doing that.
Yeah.
Uh, my second ultra was a mountain ultra in Oakland, California, and at the end of the race, I didn't have any skin on the back of my ankle. It was tough. But I finished the race. It was a 50K, but I remember distinctively there was like a park ranger on a bicycle, and I was really hurting, and I had about 10K to go, and he was riding the opposite direction. And as I was running, he stopped his bike, and the only thing he told me was, "You got this." So it was pretty motivating. But yeah, so I was just thinking that maybe the theme is, we could talk about how people can get into trail running. But Jay, maybe everybody knows me. Maybe introduce yourself, tell you a little bit about what you do. I mean, you're the expert from DFW, and maybe tell a little bit about your channel too.
I don't know if I'd say I'm an expert, but I've got a YouTube channel as well. It's the old Ultra Runner, the name I put on the screen. And again, I talk a lot about the races I do, the training I do. I will do different tips videos where I give tips just because I've been running for 30, 30 years, uh, probably a little more. And I've been doing, I think I started doing trail. I guess the first trail ultra was probably 17 years ago. So I've done several. So I've got a few things that I've run into over the years. So I'll talk about those things in my YouTube
That's
channel.
great. Hey Jay, I just gonna make a quick comment that we're truly international today. We have Monica from Toronto that's in the chat, and we also have Mia Moore. Well, she's a friend of mine. She's in Hong Kong, so
Oh, great. I think
yeah.
she was on the last time I was chatting
Yeah,
with.
she was on a previous one too. Yeah, She's a trail runner. She's from Indonesia, but she's living in Hong Kong. So Jay, you stay pretty busy. I mean, you're racing or running something almost every weekend. It seems like you got all these series you're involved in and everything.
Yeah, well, the series is just every fall. There's a every other weekend 6 hour race that I do, but that's done for this year. So um, I signed up for kind of a crazy thing that I'm in the middle of right now. I did this on Ultra Sign Up. There was a race called the Dreadmill 100 or the Dreadmill 48-hour challenge. And I did it last year. I did try to see how fast on a treadmill you can run 100 miles.
So are you limited to 48 hours or you just go until you're done?
You're limited to 48 hours. Now, I finished the treadmill 100-miler last year in 22 hours and something, but I'm not in shape to do that right now. I'm still recovering. I had my heart attack less than 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I remember you talked about it a little bit, but Jay, did you actually have the pain during a run, or was it after a run, or how
I was
can you
in the
give us?
middle of one of those 6 hour events that I was doing the every other week thing. And
Uh-huh.
I was about 4 hours into the run. I was about 20 miles in, and I started having a little bit of pain across my chest. And I actually just thought I had indigestion or gas. um, but I went to the bathroom, sat down. I still did like 4 more miles after it started bothering me.
Oh, really?
And it just wouldn't go away, and my energy all was drained. So I went home and tried to sleep. I couldn't fall asleep. Um, it wasn't real bad pain, but it was enough. It was keeping me awake. And then finally, it took me 8 or 9 hours before I realized that I should probably go to the hospital and have it checked out. It turned out I was having a heart attack.
Wow. Now, are there different severities of heart attack? Was yours like a very mild one, or?
Yeah, I was fortunate. I didn't have a lot of. I mean, damage to the heart, it appears. But
Mhm.
it basically means the blood isn't flowing through there the way it's supposed to be. And apparently there was some big artery they call I don't remember, it's a left diagonal or something, that apparently they call the widowmaker, that one
Yeah.
blocks real often and it causes people to drop and they die.
Yeah.
That was not blocked on me, but I had a little artery that fed into that got 100% blocked.
Oh, I see. I see. So
So,
that's where the stents come in. They put
so I
the
got a stent in that one, and then they found another artery that was somewhat blocked. So I got a stent, and so I got 2 stents.
Oh, wow. So what did they just make a small incision and go in that way, or did they? Is it pretty?
Yeah. They
They
actually
go through
went
the
in through
arm?
my wrist.
Is that right? Wow. Wow.
Your radial artery in your wrist. Now, a lot of people, they'll go through there's an artery down in your upper leg.
Yeah.
They'll run it up through. But the doctor I'm using tries to go through your wrist. Now, they shaved it down on my leg in case they needed to go in that way. But they were able to go through the radial artery on my wrist. Anyway, there's a little scar there. I don't think you can see it now, but
Wow.
and they go up there and they do a angiogram, basically look at all the arteries. And then while they were in there, they were able to put the stents in and everything. I was under for a couple hours, and
Wow. I'm glad it
not
worked
fully
out.
under. I heard some of it going on. They kind of
Yeah.
put you in a in and out state where you kind of half there.
So do you feel like you're back 100% running where you were before, or are you still taking it easy?
No, I'm still not back to normal. I'm watching my heart rate. I'm not letting my heart rate go over like 130, and my stamina is not quite back. But I'm feeling better. Like this week, for the first time, I'm starting to feel more normal. But
Maybe you'll get faster. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Phil Maffetone. They call it the MAF method.
yeah,
He trained in the 80s the triathlete that won Ironman so many times. Can't believe I can't remember his name. But anyways, that was his claim to fame. And the Maffetone method, which I've used a lot, but I pad it some because mine is, it's 180 minus your age. So that means I should be running 125 heart rate. That's almost impossible. So I usually pad it some, but yeah, you're right in that Maffetone level. So
I
they
have
say
followed it. I've actually followed Maffetone for years, but yeah, now I'm down to the point where I'd have to be like 121. So I fudge it a little bit normally and say, well, if my average, I'm keeping it under 130, I'm doing good. But I'll usually have I follow it most of the time, but then I allow some harder days.
That's what I do too. And I do a modified one. It wasn't my idea. There's actually a big organization called Run Lab in Austin, and they do gait analysis and all that. Anyways, they have a podcast. The owner, can't remember his name, but he's a very famous road runner. And one of the guys on his staff is a trail runner, and they actually put on some trail races and stuff. But he came up with the idea where he uses the Maffetone method, but he incorporates strides so I try to do that too. I think that I like that a lot. So I kind of run my normal pace, and then, which is usually around 10, I usually run like 10K when I go run. But the last 2 kilometers, I'll try to do some strides because I'm warmed up by then, and just try to do a faster mile. I think that's a pretty good idea.
I'm a believer. I do the Maffetone method pretty exclusively to build up a base, but then I've also read there's a Matt Fitzgerald that wrote a book. He's written several books. He wrote one that's called 80-20.
Yeah, I've
And
heard of that.
he's the 80-20 book is kind of based on the work. There's a guy named Steven Seiler who now lives in the Netherlands or something that has written a whole bunch of training methodology books. Well, his 80-20 principle is you train like 80% of the time, kind of like in the Maffetone method, but then you allow yourself 10 to 20% of the time to train at a higher.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I mean, I used to be a real podcast junkie, listening to all of them, and I think all the pros I know is like they're my relative, even though I've never met them, because I've listened to so many interviews. But one thing always consistent from them is, they say you need to be consistent in your training. So, if you're not running, you should be biking or weightlifting or whatever. But the other thing they always say is the host always says, if you could tell a beginner runner one thing to improve their running, what would you tell them? and many of them say this, is they say, don't run the same way every day. And that's what, I fell in that trap. I probably did that for 20 years, but now I try to go out and do some hill running. I try to do strides. I don't do track workouts that much anymore, but I should. But I don't know. But you got to toss it up, that's how you're going to improve. And I've seen some improvement, at least a minute off my miles. So over the last few years.
I mean, I do a lot where it's very similar, but I just figure I'm doing base math type training.
Mm-hmm.
But then I try to spice it up every once in a while. But I'm not spicing it up right now. I'm just trying to keep everything easy and keep my heart rate low right at the moment. But
so, yeah, we were talking about the treadmill, and then we I guess we should follow up on that. So when are you going to actually do that, this weekend, or?
Well, I started it today.
Oh, okay, all right.
But I'm not shooting to do it straight through because I'm just not in shape for it. But I'm trying to see if I can get close to 100 miles in the 48 hours. So I started at 11 o'clock this morning, and it goes to 11 o'clock Saturday morning.
Okay.
Today I ended up getting 36.8 miles, but I stopped about 7:30 and ate dinner and just said, I'm done for the night. I'm going to sleep a full night. I'm going to get up in the morning. And I mean, I think the best way I figured out I might be able to get close to 100 is by splitting it up, because right now I need my rest. I'm just not quite normal yet. So I did 36.8 today, and maybe 50 tomorrow. If I do that, then I can get up Saturday morning, and I have until 11 in the morning, and I can do 15 more miles.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's kind of my thought.
So you just it's a virtual thing. You just turn in the mileage and.
Yeah, I have to take snapshots of the treadmill with timestamps.
Oh, really?
Showing it zeroed out at a certain time, and then later snapshotted with the mileage, with it snapshotted. So, and they're going to verify that. I mean, it's not a perfect way of doing it still, but he's at least seeing that you're getting the treadmill up to a certain distance, but at times you're saying, and you can't have this. You can't use the same picture and over. They have to be time stamped and everything.
Well, that's good. So what does your December look like? Are you planning to do anything in December? Or?
Well, not other than this. I'm doing this treadmill
We're
thing
in December. Yeah. So no more races this month, or?
No. I am signed up for in January the running the Rose in Tyler.
Yeah, I wanted to do that too. It just always kind of conflicts with Bandera 100K, which I like to do every year, and
It
then
does.
also Rocky Raccoon. But that's a nice park, and I know someone that really good runner, Mano or something like that. He's a Hispanic guy. He's always winning the races in Texas, but he lives in Tyler. He's actually a UPS driver in Tyler, and he always talks about his training out there. But that's a beautiful park.
Yeah, I love it out there. I'm signed up for the 54K. I may end up actually dropping down just because, even though I'm doing long right now, I'm pretty slow. I may just do the 11 mile or 22 mile this year.
Well, the thing is just to be consistent. I learned, I don't try to go crazy in the beginning of races. Lucky Van Brazos been 100. All the young bucks just take off, and during the last 20 miles, I passed a lot of people, and in the carnage was horrendous. I have trekking poles that I keep in my bag because often I need them in the last 20 miles. I didn't use them, but Jay, it was pretty interesting. I've seen it before, but you wouldn't believe how many people were out there with trekking poles that they made from branches they found in the forest.
Yeah. They didn't bring them, but they decided they needed them. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I meant to congratulate you on your race.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome.
I was happy I finished it because I came off of actually 2 DNFs. I don't have many DNFs, but last year I had 2. So,
are you doing Bandera this year?
Yes, I guess it's coming up in a few weeks.
I'm not seeing the chat, so if anyone's asking questions, I'm not actually seeing it for some reason, Richard.
Oh, you're not seeing it, huh? Are you seeing it on stream?
There it is. I hit comments. It was under private chat. So hi, Monica.
Yeah, Mia Mora. I'm in Yeah, I am in Austin, Texas, and Jay is in. You're in Fort Worth, right?
Well,
Basically.
I'm in between Dallas and Fort Worth, but yes,
Yeah.
close. Some three hours north of you, 3.5 hours north.
Yeah. Actually, I lived in Euless before a long time ago. Actually, lived in Irving and Euless. I worked for Nokia for 12 years, and the Nokia buildings are still there off of the in Irving,
Okay.
off of the road there.
Yeah.
But that was my employer for a while.
I'm
But
actually in Bedford, so I'm right next to Euless. My parents live in
yeah,
Euless.
yeah. So it's used to yeah. It's very interesting. It's short. It's a small
Me and
world.
more. Hi.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, she just said hi.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
we're truly international. This is my fourth live stream. Sometimes, some days I have, quite a few people join, and some days I've had no people join. So it's just kind of a timing thing. I don't really set the time because I never really know when my kids are going to go to sleep. And
Yeah.
and my son, he has martial arts. It's different every night, and sometimes he wants to eat afterwards. It's just so I kind of have a little bit of flex in my schedule. But I found that doing the live stream, I'm actually in my gym now, so it
Hmm.
works out pretty good. And in Texas, it's not too hot right now, so I can be in the garage. So pretty
I
nice.
recognize your flag and your.
Yeah, I'm actually sitting on my weightlifting bench. So it's yeah, yeah, it's working out well. So what about January? Are you planning? We got January. Well, I got Bandera, but are you planning on doing that Jackalope this year in February?
In February, I'm going to Jackalope.
I've thought about that. I've thought about doing that. I have probably the hardest race of my life coming up the end of February. That's the Run Love It. I'm doing that
Ooh,
with my
yeah.
brother. Yeah. So I mean, probably kind of foolish after DNF and Travelers and then going to Run Love It. They say it's twice as hard, but I think I'm gonna be better prepared. But in February, I wanted to do something. I thought about going out to Rocky Raccoon and doing some filming and maybe pacing someone on a lap. This is funny, Jay. You know who Nick Bear is, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Big star on the internet, Bear
Yes.
Nutrition. I even use some of his products. Well, he's based in Round Rock, real close to me.
I know
And,
he was in the Austin area, so
yeah, yeah, he just did Leadville. And um, for his fitness level, he didn't do that well. He finished, I give him credit for that. It's his first one. I think he finished in 27 hours. Well, I was thinking, man, that's about when I would finish. But, you know, he's a beast. I mean, the guy can run 4.5 minute mile, and he trains every day. He's running 7.5 minute miles. I watch a lot of his videos. Well, make a short story is he's running Rocky Raccoon this year, and he's been doing videos on it. And I've commented on some of his videos. I say, hey, I've run it twice and I finished once. I'll pace you because I know at night I can run. I can keep up with him. During the day, no way, he'd smoke me. But
right. But once it gets to be night and he's late far into it, you could pace.
yeah, it's fine. I know that course well, and it just eats up a lot of people, even though it's fairly flat. Um, if it's the fourth or fifth lap, I know I can keep up with him, and I could probably help him. But I think it would just be cool as hell to be, running around with a rock star in fitness.
No,
You
I
know,
love that place. I'm
yeah,
going down. There's some friends from DFW that are running it for the first time this year, Rocky Raccoons. So they're going down. I'm going with them on the 27th of this month just to do a course preview. And I'm going to show them around some.
oh, that's great. I love that park. I love that park. Hey, Mia Moore, if you come to Texas, let me know. I can show you around. I live in Central Texas, so
Now
welcome.
let us know, Mia Moore.
Yeah, yeah,
And Monica TV Toronto. Thank you very much. I see you subscribed to my channel just now.
yeah.
I
She's got
appreciate it.
both of them have some great videos. Mia Moore
Um,
has some from Indonesia trail running, some really interesting ones.
I did
And
go look
Monica
at
has
some of
some
Mia
nice.
Moore's. Now I got to check out
Yeah,
Monica
she's got
TV.
some. She's got some good. I mean, the trees are huge in her area in her videos. So you know,
Monica, you're up in the Toronto area, is that right? Yeah.
yeah.
And
But
so you kind of got the East Coast beautiful tree stuff.
yeah, yeah. My brother. he was in Pennsylvania the day. He's a truck driver, and he might join some videos sometimes. We call him the ultra trucker because he's always training at truck stops and stuff. But he learned something up north that I'd never heard of. And what they say is you go run until you catch a leaf. You try to do that. It's not very easy.
No, that would be hard.
Yeah, especially in Texas. But he was laughing the other day. He actually caught a leaf. But you go out and you might be running a long time before you catch a leaf. But the leaves are falling up there. It's pretty interesting. But yeah. But anyways, I've spammed his video saying I'll pace you at Rocky Raccoon, and of course no reply. I used to comment on some of his stuff on Instagram too. I don't have Instagram anymore, but when I did, I comment on his stuff. He didn't reply, and I actually helped him on some shoes one time because he was going to wear Lone Peaks at Leadville, and I told him those are too thin for him because he's a big guy. He's almost 200 pounds. He's just solid muscle. That's why it's amazing his speed. He and I forget the CrossFit athlete, another superstar. Anyways, he's having big rivalry with him on YouTube, and both of them are going to see who is going to be the first one to run a sub-3 marathon. They ended up both doing it.
Yeah, I saw that he ran it. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the other guy did too. And
Monica's asking us a question.
Yeah.
If we can tell her, she's asking about music with running.
That's a good question. My way on that is I listen on daily training runs. I listen to music, and I even have it on my Garmin watch. So I don't even need to carry my phone. So I have Spotify on my Garmin watch, and it goes by Bluetooth in my headphones. I use music all the time when I'm daily training, but in a trail race, I don't use it. And the reason is, or if I'm I'm talking about when I'm running in my neighborhood, these are trails that, people walking their dogs and stuff. If I'm out at the lake or a technical trail, I don't listen to music. If I'm in a trail race, I don't listen to music. And the reason is I want to hear my surroundings. I can give stories after stories of, running into rattlesnakes crossing the trail, and hearing wild boars and coyotes and everything. I want to know what's around me, kind of become part of nature, as I would say. And I think it helps me out. And also I want to talk with other people. And so many times, I'm sure, Jay, you've seen this too, is I've come up with people that actually needed help or something was going wrong. And I try to tell them, but they couldn't hear me because they had music on.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I usually actually do not run with music. I used to run with music all the time. You will see me running on my own if I want a long run by myself. I'll usually put it in, but I may only have it in one ear, so I can still hear surroundings out of the other ear. And I'll real often listen to like long podcasts. I'll just listen. So I have a friend talking to me almost, it sounds like.
That's great. And the one I have now, I have a couple of different ones. I have the Jaybird Terra Pros, which are for ultra runners, but those you plug in my ears, and I only use for biking or in my gym. But I have these new ones. I forget the brand, but they're actually, you don't put them in your ear. The music goes through your jawbone. So when I'm running, I can actually hear cars coming up on me. I really feel like I can hear my surroundings,
Yeah, I should know that brand. They're like bone conducting.
Yeah, it's like Aeroflex or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know the brand you're talking about. I just can't remember the name either.
Yeah, but I think they work really well. And if you have a Garmin watch, the Bluetooth works really well with it. I've had some problems with the watch broadcasting to other brands, and I don't know.
I don't have music. I have a Garmin, but I have an older one, so I still don't have music on my.
Yeah, it's a cool feature because my phone, I've got the big battery on it and everything. In an ultra race, I'll take the battery off and I put it in a Ziploc bag and I turn it off. I just put it in my pack in case I get in trouble.
Yeah.
Or it's like my third light. I carry two lights, but it's my third light. Mm-hmm. And but anyways, I don't like to carry my phone when I'm running because it's just too heavy. So I started using my watch, and I really like it a lot. It works really well, and I've gotten pretty good at it. When you first start using it, it's like you can't get it to work right and all this. But once you get used to it, and I think you can use Amazon on Garmin. So, you know, some of the watches will do it. You can use either Amazon or Spotify.
Mia Moore, I can answer. My channel is called. It is the name I have under my name. It's called the Old Ultra Runner. That's the
Yeah,
name of
yeah,
my channel.
yeah. Check it out. He's got a great channel. Um, Mia Moore, I know exactly what you have because I had the 5S for many years. I still have it, and now I'm using the 6X. Your 5X Plus will use music. You can put music on there. There are some apps to put music on your watch, but the best way to do it is use Spotify or Amazon Music. You put the app on there. You have to pay some fee every month, but that works the best. So, yeah. But it's tricky when you first start using music on the watch. It's tricky to get it going right. I found that Spotify works better than Amazon, and I mean I pay like $9 a month, but I use it for my computer and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
also my podcasting is through Anchor, which is owned by Spotify, so I kind of feel like I'm helping them out. They help me out a lot. So, but yeah. So yeah, we're talking about Jackalope Jam. I'm thinking if I don't go out to Rocky Raccoon, I might do it. I might do the race again because I did actually won that race, and that's a fun race. I wanted to do it. The one year it was canceled, and then one year I just didn't want to go out. He still had the race, but I didn't want to go out there during COVID. I think the loop is too small.
Yeah.
Too dangerous. I
Well,
told him, I said, why don't you make the loop bigger? And he's like, no, we're not doing that. I
he
was like,
tried to have it last year, but it ended up getting canceled anyway because the weather got bad. When we had that big ice storm that shut down all the power,
yeah.
they ended up. It was the weekend of the Jackalope Jam, so even though he was going to hold it during COVID, it got canceled anyway.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. Um,
But Rocky Raccoon's a great race. I understand why you go to that every year.
I like it, and I like it because it's a golden ticket race, and I think some people consider that Tejas Trail's biggest race, but I think their Bandera 100K is more famous. It's amazing. You listen to these podcasts and shows all in California and stuff. A lot of these people probably don't know where Austin is, but they know where Bandera is. It's such a famous race. It's amazing. In the trail running community, people around the world know Bandera, and it's because it's a golden ticket race for a long time.
Yeah.
Rocky Raccoon is too, but one interesting thing about Rocky Raccoon is, oh, Marco, yeah, it's like you only run on treadmills, never outdoors. Yeah, I can imagine it's so cold out there. I once went to Montreal. I had a company I worked for and did training up there, and it was so brutally cold.
Well,
And
it's
also, I
not bad
mentioned,
in the summer.
yeah, no, summer would be a lot better. And then when I worked for Nokia, I used to travel to Finland a lot, and our headquarters is in Oulu, which is northern Finland. It's like 100 miles from the Arctic Circle, and I went there for 1 week one time, 2 weeks one time, and it was minus 35 Celsius, and it never got warmer than minus 27, and it was only daylight from like 9 in the morning to 11 in the morning when I was at work.
Wow. Yeah.
It's brutal. I mean, and what was interesting is a lot of my colleagues, they were still rode their bike to work, and the trails out there are just amazing because they have these like biking, cross country skiing trails along each road, all the roads, and they keep them in they can ski on them, and they kind of keep them clean for biking and stuff. It's just really amazing. Denmark and those other countries I've been in, they all do the same thing. I wish they did more of that here. But it's really, really interesting. But anyway, we were talking about Rocky Raccoon. Yeah, I like the park there, and it's not too far away. It's
I
about
love
3.5 hours for me, and I like that College Station area, Huntsville area, and I think he does a really good job. And
I've run Rocky Raccoon, just the 50 miler there. And I've used to run, there was a Sunmark Texas Trails that was held up until probably 2008 or 9. I ran that a few times.
uh-huh.
It's on the same trails as Rocky Raccoon. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've been out there a few times to just to run without a race, but the last 4 or 5 years, I keep going and doing my jackalope jam just because I don't know why. I'm running the small loop. I like that I'm competitive in it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Monica, walking, nothing wrong with walking. We in ultra running, we always call it speed hiking and stuff, but actually we're speed walking.
Yeah.
We do a lot of walking in ultras. So it's
No,
all,
and if you're walking fast, you're doing a lot.
yeah, yeah. I got a good compliment in the Brazos Bend. Towards the end of the race, there was a guy that passed me a couple times. And I kid you not, I maybe mentioned this to you before. There's some people that can speed walk faster than I can jog. And it's amazing. They can do like 14 minutes and stuff.
Yeah.
But he was making this kind of toy soldier movement. And late in the race, um, I was running with a lady named Leah. She's one on the trot team, and she was pretty beat up. I was pretty beat up, and we were kind of jogging and then walking, jogging and walking. And she told me, she goes, "I can't believe how fast you're speed walking." And I was like, "Really? No one's ever told me that." But I was imitating that guy's movement, and I think there's something to it. It's amazing. We were chatting. In the Olympics, these people doing like sub 6 minutes walking.
Yeah, incredible. It's
I don't know how to
incredible.
do it.
Now,
What's even more, really put you in your place is the world record for running backwards is like in the 5 minute range. And then one guy, I think he called it the Beer Mile podcast. They also have a YouTube channel. These two guys are supersonic college athletes. I mean, 4 minute milers, both of them, and they have some pretty interesting. Their YouTube channel and podcast is all about track running. But one of them, I forget his name, but he holds a world record for the beer mile, and he just improved on it, and it's like 4:25. Now, Jay,
wow.
that's drinking a beer every quarter mile,
Yeah, and I can't even.
and he's still running a 4:25 mile. I mean, it's like amazing. It's because he runs sub 4 without a beer. That's why. I'm gonna fly in my garage, but it's really amazing they doing that.
Yeah, that
I
is.
almost did a beer mile this year. There was my where my father lives. They had one, but I couldn't get down there. I thought it would just be interesting to go down there and film it. I was
It's
gonna
kind
film. I
of
was gonna
sounds like
film
fun,
it.
but I just don't think I can drink that many beers that quickly anymore either.
I don't know. Yeah, it would be tough. It would be tough because they do make you drink one full beer every lap.
There was a time I could do that, but I'm not proud of that necessarily. But
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Me too. So what you got? Are you planning to do anything else in the spring? What's your plans?
well,
You
I'm
go
signed up.
past Jackalope?
I am also after Jackalope. I'm signed up for Brazos Bend 50 miler in April,
Oh, okay.
and I'm also signed up for um, the Hatchie in Waxahachie. There's a 50 miler there.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately, they're both 2 weeks apart, which I may have to drop down on one of them.
Yeah. Well, the Brazos Bend 50, that's actually in Huntsville, right?
Yeah, no, it's Brazos Bend is down
It's in Needville. Okay, Needville. Okay, you're
Meadville.
going all the way down there.
The
That's
same,
where I
yeah,
was. Yeah.
same place you did your 100 miler. It's just they do a 50 miler in the spring.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, they actually
Well,
have 100K available too, but
well, if you need intel in that course, ask me because I did it
well,
6 times.
I've done the 50 miler before.
Okay, you've done it. Well,
Yeah. So
well, my most interesting story there was, um, in my opinion, almost getting attacked by an alligator, and that was I was running by. I told it in one of my other videos, but I'll tell it quickly again. It was really interesting. It just got dark, and it was in my fourth loop, and I was running down the trail. And these trails, as you know, they're like kind of golf cart width. They're not Jeep road, but they're not too small either. But I kind of shined my light off to the right, and there was a big alligator with his head on the bank, but the rest of his body was in the water. And I don't know if he was sleeping or not. I don't know if alligators sleep or not. But I shined my lights in his eyes, and he opened his mouth, and he wasn't happy about that at all. And I kept going, and I want to say it was probably 25 yards, and these two ladies were running behind me, and they just screamed.
Mm.
And I think what happened was they shined their lights in his eyes too. And he kind of jumped in the water and he let out some kind of roar. I mean, it
He
sounded
can
like a
make some
gorilla
noise.
roar
Yeah.
or something. Yeah. But it scared it was scary. It made me jump too. And I saw them later in an aid station. They said, "We thought it was going after you." So it's
They're
fun.
a little scary. They
Yeah.
they scared me. It kind of freaked me out the last time I ran out there because I was running along and there was there was water on the left, and they were right up against the water. It was like 6 feet wide, the trail to the water, and the
Uh-huh.
alligator was there in full length, and my headlight hit him too. And I'm like, I could see his eyes glowing, and he was like all the way across. And you're like, they say get away from him, kind of run a few feet away from him. But fortunately, the trail was, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet wide. So I just ran as far away from him as I could, but his mouth was straight toward me. So it was a little spooky.
Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it? And the one I took a picture with, well, everyone took a picture with, the photographer that stayed there, but it must have been, it was over 10 foot. It was a huge one. It was just on the bank, but he was kind of blue. And the park ranger said he was in like a kind of hibernation mode. They take their heartbeat down to 5 beats a minute and they just soak up the sun. And he says, as long as you don't go up and pat him on the back, he's not going to do anything. So, but I mean, it's like Jurassic Park out there. I mean, they don't, they really look big in person. And I had one case where, after I startled that one, I wasn't shining my light side to side because on the first mini loop, there's 3 loops. The first mini loop, you're going through a lot of swamp section. And I just kept it on the trail. I was scared to scare another alligator. But there was one time where I was kind of catching the edge of the glass and I saw this huge tail. I mean, it was like a dinosaur was laying there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Yeah, they're definitely out there. It's fun. The last time I ran too, I also saw a huge snake that was probably that big around and was 6 or 8 feet long. It was a big black.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It
I
was on the trail.
wow. I saw a grass snake, but I mean it was a pretty big one. I mean, it kind of looked like a green mamba, but we're not in Africa, so it was definitely a grass snake. But my brother saw some water moccasins when he was actually at Packet Pickup. He saw some, but I didn't see any. I didn't really see any snakes. Saw some deer and a lot of vultures out there. Some of them are big as condors. I mean, they're like every time it was kind of eerie because I think my last lap was daylight again, and I had a lot of chafing and stuff. I was like, man, do I smell like blood or something? Because I every time I looked up in the trees, there was like 20 of them, and I was like,
Mm.
are they just flying around, just waiting for me to fall down? But they're huge. I mean, you see big buzzards. But these are gigantic birds. I
Well,
mean,
I'm
they're
glad you made it out without him picking you clean there, Richard.
yeah. I am too. I am too. But let's see, what else? What else did I write down? I was going to. Yeah. Oh, maybe we can talk about tapering. I really don't do any tapering. I always have this discussion with my brother, and my kind of way of doing it is because I listen to some podcasts and videos sometimes. It's like I'm in taper mode, and they're like 2 weeks, don't do anything. But I found that it's kind of like the tool building business. We say steel hardening. Making your I find I do better if I just keep doing my daily routine. Now I'll slow down the miles, but even a few days before an ultra, I'm running a few miles each day, and
That's
that's what I do.
I used to try to follow marathon taper when I was
Yeah,
just running marathons, and yeah, the last 3 weeks you're like reducing your mileage and being.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't do that anymore. I'm like, maybe the week before, the week of the race, I may be doing a little less miles, but I'm still getting out and run some, and I'll still
Yeah.
run. Well, I'll say I'll run maybe a half marathon to 15 miles the weekend before ultra. I don't care. But now I was doing all these 6 hour races in the fall. Shoot, I was doing ultras on Saturdays and 6 hour races on Sundays the last couple of
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah, and I think if you take too much time off, because real taper is supposed to be kind of a V, and some people are taking off like 1 or 2 weeks before a race, and I find that my body tightens up, because I go through that a little bit after a big race because I just can't run.
I want to
So
recover well. And
yeah, so I'm recovering, and that first run after the recovery, it's not because I was injured. It's just because I didn't run in a long time. It's always a little bit difficult to get going. And I find that I just keep busy until the race comes. And, you know, a couple of days before the race, I might like do like 2 mile runs, something
Mhm.
like that.
I'm
You
kind of
know,
the same way, but I'm like
yeah,
you. I like sometimes a break after a big ultra, just mentally as much as anything.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I think my body's ready in a few days, but I just not sure I'm mentally ready.
Yeah, and one thing I do to incorporate days off in the week is a funny, when I did the run, the RRCA, coaching, license
Mhm,
coaching, it's a 3-day course. And the guy that teaches it, he was one of the lead instructors, and he at one time ran a 2:16 marathon. He's a really fast guy at one time. And so he's really experienced. And he was talking about days off, and I was like, you can run every day and still take a day off. He's like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, well, what I do is some days I'll run in the morning and then the next day I run in the evening. It's more than
mhm.
24 hours. And, people don't think of it that way. And it was a funny story one time to get off the subject a little bit, but um, I was going in for a colon check one time, and they tell you you're not supposed to eat anything for 24 hours, not 24 hours, not for a whole day. And
Mhm.
mine was like at 3 o'clock. And I go in there and the nurse like briefing me. He's like, when was the last time you ate? And I said, well, yesterday morning. She says, well, I told you not to eat for a whole day. I was like, where's 3 o'clock? 24 hours before is 3 o'clock the previous day. But they don't think that way. It's the same thing with running. You, you know, if you think about it, like if I drive to a race, I'm often going on a Friday. I leave in the morning. Like when I went to Brazos Bend, I did a little shakeout run in the morning, but I didn't really race until 6 the next day. So it's kind
Mhm.
of like I took a day off before the race,
Yeah.
technically, you know. But if someone takes a calendar day off and they run every morning, they're really taking more than almost 2 days off. So when you really calculate the hours.
So, Richard, do you have any races planned this next year coming up? You thinking about Bandera, and you're thinking about Rocky
Yeah.
Raccoon.
Well, yeah. Well, the ones I'm registered for. That's a good question. The ones I'm registered for is Bandera 100K, so that's going to happen. That's the
First weekend in
second
January.
weekend of January, first weekend of January. Kind of moves sometimes. And then I've got Run Love at the end of February, and then I wanted to. My craziness gets more crazy. I wanted to get into the Cruel Jewel,
Wow.
but that's a race that I've always wanted to do. It's in May, but I went to try to sign up for it, and that's in Georgia, North Georgia, and
Mhm.
it's a masters level race too. But they got a belt buckle that's huge. It's like a
Do
platinum.
they?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But it's a very popular race. It's also a
Is it
qualifier
hard
for
to get
all.
in? Is it
Yeah,
hard to get into? Yeah.
it's because of the amount of people they allowed in the race. I guess it's because of the Forest Service again. But
Mhm.
I tried to register this week, and they already have a wait list. And I sent them an email, and they said the wait list is already 70 people. And I was like, no, it's not gonna happen.
Wow.
She says usually in the 50 get in there, but I've always wanted to do it. But my son's birthday is in the middle of May, and this year it happens to kind of push to the next weekend. So I'm not gonna skip his birthday for a trail race. But this year it's not on the same weekend. So I was like, man, that's perfect. I was gonna do it. Plus it's in May, so there's some spacing, but that fell through. Another one that I really want to do is the Cocodona 250. That's in April. That's in Arizona. But it's just so
Yeah.
expensive. That's like $1,300 for a race. And I know
Oh, I
they
didn't
give
know
you a
it cost that.
tracker and you got a week of running and but you still got
I
to
didn't know
hope
it cost
for
that
trail.
much. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
watching things on it today because I was on the treadmill for so long. I turned on.
I really want to do that one. And the one I wanted to do before that, which is still on my list, is the Moab 240. I really want to do that one because
It's
I like it
beautiful.
because it's kind of hot and it's cold. But if I do a 200 miler and invest in it, I want to finish it. And I think I really interested in, I could finish the 240 with the right training. And the Arizona, I've done Arizona races before. I kind of know what I'm getting into. But some of those other races like Tahoe, I mean, I lived in the Bay Area. No way I'd want to do that. I want to be scared I'd get eaten by something. Mountain lions everywhere. And you know, that's a really tough race. And then they have the Bigfoot 200 up in the Washington. No way. I'm going to get eaten by some bear. That's the toughest 200 of them all. I've listened to podcasts about it. But
Yeah.
if I do one of those big investment 200s, I'd like to really do the Moab or the Cocodona. Yeah. But other than that, you know, I haven't done it in a few years, but I used to do the summer series with Tejas Trails. You
Right.
know, where they start the race at 7 o'clock, and if you do all 4 of them, you can get, you know, you get a medal for each one, and you get a special one if you finish the series. Those are really cool races. It's 30 or 60K.
They are cool races.
Yeah. I might do
I
that
did
this
one a
year.
couple of years ago, but
Yeah,
I haven't done
I might do that this year. I'm not sure. But I'd like to do the Arkansas Travelers again, and that's in November. My brother would probably try to do it again too. We want to finish that. I came so close to finishing, and I just didn't. My planning wasn't very good, and I just came into the little bit past midway point, right at cutoff. They were going to let me go, but I'd like have no time for aid stations or nothing. I was like, man, there's no way I'm going to make it.
Now, did
So
I hear that that one has a lot of like Jeep roads, but it's very hilly? Is that
it
what it
is. It is. It's like 12,000 feet of elevation. And that's where I learned my lesson, you know, because people always say, you know, hike uphill, hike uphill. You do it in that race, you're going to DNF. You got to jog uphill because everything is uphill.
Yeah.
I've recalibrated. If it's just a few degrees of draft, I mean, I'm going to try to jog it. That's where I ran into trouble, Jay, is I lost time in the first half because, oh, this is a hill, so I'll speed hike it. And I got way too behind.
So
And
you're going to hike faster then.
yeah, I would need to, but I really was literally 1 hour. If I had 1 hour, banked 1 hour, I could have done it.
I've thought about doing that one. I would like to try that one, I think.
It's beautiful. And they do such a great job. You know, it's one of the oldest ultras in the US. And they really, that Little Rock organization that puts it together, they just do a great job because it's only about 30 minutes from Little Rock. So, you know, major cities next to it. And
I've heard great things about that race. So.
Yep. The main aid station in the middle, pipeline or anyways, power line. You know, anytime you hear power line, you know, it's going to be difficult. But it's literally right after a power line section, and they had a band there. It was like something I saw on like, you know, Javelina 100, and all the cars can, you know, there's only a few places on the course that the crews can come and see you, you know, cars lined up, you know, waiting for their people coming in. And it was just a big party. And I mean, they really did a great job. And every day, all the aid stations out there were like that. And the first aid station, they had pancakes and bacon. I mean, it's just unreal.
Sounds good.
It was only, but it's hard, it's not easy to get into, or you have to be on top of it because they only let about 300 in. So when they open it up in August, you got to be, you know, put it on. That's what I did. I put it on my calendar, and I was able to get in there. And my brother got in there, so I think I can get in there again. But it's one that you can't let slip because if you try to wait too long, you can't get into it.
Okay,
But
well, I need to decide if I want to do that and put it on the calendar. Then,
yeah, it's a great race. But that race, it's 100 or nothing because they don't have any other distance.
Yeah.
The Run Love It has 100K, but still trying to get over a cough. Yeah, it's getting better. And but if that doesn't pan out, some other ones I'd like to do is I'd like to do Javelina 100 again. I think my brother would like to go out there again too. That's one that you should try to do, Jay. And it's just
that one sounds fun too.
It's really nice. And the flights to Phoenix, you know, especially from Dallas, really cheap.
Not bad.
Yeah, not really cheap, and it's easier than from Austin. I gotta stop someplace, but from Dallas you can fly directly to Phoenix. And I rent a car. I've done the race twice. So the first time I did it, I went 82 miles. I had some back issues and pulled out. And then the second time I finished, my brother's been out there and he's finished 100K, but Jamil does such a great time, and that's his flagship race. All of his races are great, but that's his flagship race. You know, it's the biggest ultra in the U.S. There's over 1,000 people, and it's a 5 loops, and each loop it changes direction, so it's kind of washing
Hmm.
machine. You're always seeing the pros lead passing you, and the pros coming towards you. You see your friends the same way, and it's amazing. You go out there, you see a lot of people from Texas and all over the place, and
Yeah.
I was chatting with people from 10 Junk Miles. The podcast was out there. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I see a lot of famous people. And my brother and I, we were at the expo the day we got there on a Friday. The expo's on Friday. And we saw Jim Walmsley in the Hoka booth, said hi to him. And Eric Sensman in the Squirrel's Nut Butter booth. These are like, A-list runners everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And they have really big sponsors. The one aid station they have in the middle of the course, it's like a disco, and they have big sponsors. I mean, they literally had cheeseburgers for the runners, not just the lead pack, for everybody.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
one aid station had pizza, and I've heard it's even gotten better because Jamil's brother Nick, they are partners on a pizza place in
That's
town.
right. That's
So
right.
they supply all the pizza for Javelina. So
It's the same brother that just set the American record on 24
yeah,
hours.
yeah, it is. I was reading. There's a really nice write up about that, his effort and race and how he got started on I Run Far. I was reading it today, but he talked about how he got involved, and because he got involved in running because Jamil got involved, and now he's actually faster than Jamil now.
Now, I'm gonna have to think quite a bit about my fall schedule. I may have to. I'll probably do a few that are local up here because that Blaze Trails company that's taking over a whole lot of the trot races that are in the North Texas part.
Uh huh.
They put on the Rockledge Rumble and the Grasslands for several years, and they've added some other races, and now they're taking over the trot race. So, like next year, not in 2022, but in 2023, they'll do the Running the Rose. They'll do the Possum's Revenge. All those races that have been trot in North
Yeah.
Texas, they're taking them all over. Well, I'm apparently going to be an ambassador for them, so I'll
Well,
probably
that's
run a few.
great. That's great.
Yeah,
That's great. Have you done the Grayford race, the Possum's Revenge? I've been out there twice.
I've done it. Yes, yes, I've been out there
That's a
twice.
tough course, and the one year I did the 69 mile, it was incredibly hot. I mean,
Yeah,
it was hot even on Texas standards. And then I think it was last year I went out and I did one loop with my brother. He was doing the race, but
they hold
that's
it
a
the other
nice
way. It's
course.
always hot there.
Yeah. Well, that time it wasn't too bad, but the time I did the 69 mile, it was just brutally hot.
I think they're talking about the not this year still be held by Trot, but I think when Blaze Trails takes it over, they're thinking about moving it to a different time of year where it won't be quite as hot. But
That would be a good idea. I mean, if they move it to like October, November, that would be a great place to go.
yeah, it's just there's so many races in October and November is what's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The Rockledge one I've never done before. And the Grasslands. Where's the Grasslands one at?
Grasslands is in just outside of Decatur. It's kind of north of Dallas Fort Worth a little bit.
Is that near
And
Wichita Falls?
it's not that far west. It's
Long time ago, I used to do when I was really into biking too. I did the Hotter Than Hell 100. You ever done
Mhm.
that?
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
haven't
used
done
to
that in
always
a
go
lot
out
of
to
years.
Wichita Falls. Yeah, but
But
that's
yeah,
like
this is probably an hour. Well, it's about an hour north and slightly west of Dallas Fort Worth, but they hold it on a. It's actually it's a national grasslands property. It's owned by the government, but they normally have horseback riding there a lot. So they have
yeah.
all these horse trails. It's actually pretty sandy
Is it really? Yeah,
and
that's
not a ton of
anything.
tree cover.
Horses like sand, but yeah, I don't like it too much. There's in it
I'm sorry, I think you froze. I didn't get
this
that.
weekend. There's one up. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, good. I was looking at the race schedule, and there is some 50K or even 50 mile up in that Decatur area this weekend, or was it last weekend? Some lady race director is putting it on. Do you know anything about that one? I was just looking for something to do, and I noticed that there was one up there.
I'm not sure. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
sure
it's
this.
interesting. There's so many races now. um, all over the place, Houston, DFW, even in this Austin area, there are some small race directors that do stuff, do a pretty good job. I tend to like to do the ones that, use Ultra Sign Up just so I can keep all my data. But
Well,
I've
and this
done some that haven't done it. So
some don't. That Blaze thing does. They've only put on a few races, but now they're growing. They're going to have like 12 or 13 races next year. So
yeah, and it's not too hard to. I one time for a California race, I just downloaded the data, and if you put it in a CSV file and send it to them, they'll upload it on Ultra Sign Up. So I've done that one time because the race director wouldn't do it.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't know why I was so anal about that, but I just like all my data on Ultra Sign Up because it's easy to go back and because I can't remember, but it's nice. I wish the marathons had done that too. So I know a lot of marathons that I've done, but I can't remember which years I did them. So
I got to contact. There's a race director, the one that I did the perpetual motion. I did a race in August where it was a 48-hour race, but I did 100 miles. I'd like to see that one uploaded. They actually sent it to like Ultra Running Magazine and stuff, but they don't have it on Ultra Sign Up.
well, if you can get it in there's a format that on Ultra Sign Up they tell you how to do it,
Okay.
and it doesn't need a lot of data. It's like name, age, and they just have a requirement how many people. You don't have to actually do it for everybody. I think when I did it, Jay, I just did it for the males. I just wanted to get mine up there, so I grabbed all the males and sent it to them, and they upload it. I never heard anything else.
I'll have to look. Yeah.
Yeah, and for people getting into trail running that using Ultra Sign Up, cut some tips down. One thing real important is make sure that when you set up your Ultra Sign Up account, use the name that you want to use going forward. And like for me, I'm a junior, and when I first started, I didn't have junior on mine, and then I said, well, I wanted to match my ID, so I had to import a few races into my new ID with junior. But now, when I set up my races, it's always Richard Elkins Jr. So I do it on purpose to make sure that it's going to upload okay.
Yeah.
But
So
I've
they
known
all
several
match.
people. Yeah, I know some people that have several accounts and like got married, or I say, well, you can port it over. They'll do that for you. But if you're careful about how you sign up for races, you'll never have that problem. So yeah.
Well, Richard, I'm going to have to drop off. I'm sorry.
No problem. No, thanks for joining.
I've really enjoyed it, and I am going to check out Monica's channel, Monica TV, and Mia Moore's. I've been to Mia Moore's before though, so
Yeah. Thanks for Jay for joining. And
thanks
if you'd
for
like
inviting
to,
me, Richard. I really
yeah,
enjoyed it.
if you'd like to get a copy of the file, let me know, and I'll try to send it to you tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be
Okay.
great.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye, Jay.
Bye. Bye.